Welcome. This is Chapter 10, Lesson 7. We're going to practice comparing and ordering decimals. And to compare decimals, we can use a number line or we can use place value. So let's start with our first example. They say, at a race, Austin and his friends decided to have two races. One was 0.2 of a mile and the other was 0.4 of a mile. Which race was longer? So we're going to be comparing. All right, so we're talking less than, greater than, or equal to. So one way is to use a number line. Now you'll notice that both of our distances are in miles. So our number line, this is 0 miles, and this is 1 mile, right there. And everything in between are pieces of that mile. So we've plotted, well, let's pretend we built our number line, and so we've plotted 0.2 on our number line, and then we plotted 0.4 on our number line. And we can tell that 0.2 is closer to 0, and 0.4 is to the right of 0.2. So if it's to the right, it means it's bigger because we're getting closer to our whole mile. So we can say that 0.4 is greater than 0.2, or we could say that 0.2 is less than 0.4, right? Either sentence is true. We're answering the question, which race was longer? So we're going to say 0.4 was the longer race. Yes? Okay. So we can use a number line, which is an amazing visual. I really encourage you guys to use the number lines as much as you can, especially when we're comparing our decimals. So let's look at place value. So in this way, we're going to line up our decimal points, and then we're going to compare the digits in each place value position. So here you can see in the model, they've created a cute little chart. We have our ones, we have our tenths, right? Tenths. And they listed 0.2 and 0.4. Well, these all compare the same, so then we need to move to the right. And here we have a 2. And here we have a 4. And obviously the 2 is smaller than the 4. The 4 is larger than the 2. So we're going to say that 0.4 is greater than 0.2. So the longer race was the one that was 0.4 of a mile. It was almost half a mile, wasn't it? And then down here, and we've already talked about it, but they said, notice you can only compare 0.4 and 0.2 because they both refer to the same whole, which was 1 mile. They both referred to our 1 mile. All right, let's look at the second example. Example number 2. We're going to put, oh yikes, we're going to put 3 decimals in order. And here's the kicker, guys. This time we list them from greatest to least. And trust me, your math book, sometimes they'll ask for least to greatest, sometimes they'll ask for greatest to least. And you need to read carefully, okay? Because they will try to trick you. So, step 1 was to line up the decimal points, and you can see that they've done that. Everything is stacked right on top of each other. Okay? You're going to place a 0 to the right of 0.3 so that all the numbers have the same number of decimal places. So you can see up here it's 0.3, but over here they listed 0.3 and then they gave it a red 0 so that they all have 2 places behind the decimal. All right? It does not change the number. 0.3 or 0.30 does not change the number. So, we're going to now compare the digits in each place value position. So, let's look at the tenths. We'll start here first. and we have a 1, a 3, and a 3. Well, these two are the same. This 1 is less than those 3, so this guy is going to be our smallest number, and I'm just going to make a note, okay? So now, because these two are the same, we now move to the hundredths place. And here in the hundredths, we have either a 0 or an 8. Which is the largest? 0 or 8? Well, obviously, you guys, 8 is the largest, so this is going to be our largest number. And this number is going to fall in the middle because we've already identified our smallest one. So when we list these, we have to list from greatest to least. Who's our largest? 0.38. Who's our smallest? 0.15. And then the little guy that falls in the middle, 0.30. And if you want to use models to check, you can use those in My Math, or you can go to toytheater.com and you can see we've colored in our 15, 10 and 15. Here we've colored in our 30 out of 100. So this is 15 out of 100. This is 30 out of 100. And this is 38 out of 100. So visually you can see that this guy's the biggest, this guy's the littlest, and this is our middle man. All right? Now go do the guided practice with your teacher.